What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Wednesday's 9-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and our sponsor, Yahoo. Ryan is currently winning the $15. Okay, he's split for first in the $15 right now on DK. There's a lot of times that, you're chasing while these shows are going on towards the top, but very rarely have we had a live sweat for first place here on this show, but that's what we're in the middle of right now. Ryan, how's your night going?
I could be really good at the set of end of everything, but many times you do start off the show in first and you just fall. It's just the nature of DFS. Hopefully it holds. It's one of those things you'd love for it to hold, but just hope for the best, and because you put out all the work to try your best and you leave the rest, and hopefully it pans out. There's a lot of mistakes that I did today, and I could have had many chances at first place. Unfortunately, I had to step away from my computer after lock, and I ended up with lots and lots of Naz Reid on all the sites. And I would have not played him if I was at my computer. I had to step away for something, and Naz Reid was just literally not starting, and I would have probably not played him or Nathan Knight. I would have probably got to some Nathan Knight just because of that price tag, but it would have definitely changed a lot of my ownership. It was just luckily I came back and had enough options, and luckily there's one that got away. Hopefully it stays like that.
Yeah, well, let's have that one runaway bride just end up finishing there and getting married here at the top. That was a terrible analogy, but whatever. I needed to step away from Twitter at some point here today because I had people going at me because of Naz Reid, and I'm like, look, I had 0%. I legitimately, let me just read this off, because at 3 p.m. Pacific time out here, 3 p.m., I had 95% Nathan Knight, 0% Naz
Reid. Whoa, who is Nathan?
I honestly just even let that go. 3:40 p.m. Pacific time, 0% Nathan Knight, 72% Nathan Reid. That was the crunch. Another 40 minutes later at 4:20, so 40 minutes before that game tipped off, I had 92% Nathan Reid and 92% Nathan Knight and 0% Naz Reid. So legitimately, it was sounding confusing, but I literally flip-flopped between the two constantly based on news, based on, Naz Reid is in. I assumed him to be the starter. Then all of a sudden, Knight starting, I thought people might have swapped off of him, so I just kind of jammed at 3,200, even though, it made it, I had 3% less or whatever, because I ended up playing more Yurt 7 as a result. But, it is what it is. If you guys aren't paying attention to news, I don't know what to do and how to help you with everything. And we do this show and people are like, what is the point of you guys doing this show? Well, the point is that we're able to go through position by position every single night, giving you our first impressions, and hopefully, you will be able to quicker make decisions when news drops. We are teaching you how to fish. We are not fishing for you. And if you want me to fish for you on these live before lock shows, you are effed. You are completely screwed. You are not in good shape. You can just ask for the plays. Yeah, I'm happy to tell you who I'm getting to, but the process of who I land on throughout a night, throughout the late swap, that is why you're listening to these shows. So people coming at me on Twitter, letting me know exactly that what a freaking moron I am about Naz Reid, I had 0%. Ryan, go.
I wish I had 0% Naz Reid, but I completely understand.
Merry Christmas to myself.
Yeah, it was a tough situation to maneuver around, and more that I think of it, there was a 4-man front court rotation, including the 4 and the 5 over there in Minnesota. Greg Monroe earned himself some minutes on this back-to-back. He played well yet again. Looking back at it, I think people really forgot the situation with Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell entered health and safety protocols, and Daniel Gafford at that same price tag was going to get extra rotational run with no Montrezl Harrell, because they also have a lack of bodies. And luckily I accounted for that, and I had a lot of pivots off of non-Naz Reid lineups, had some Daniel Gafford, and hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but fingers crossed.
I had 40% on FanDuel. Again, this is why you play multiple sites. You play Yahoo because there's a certain price structure you can get on certain plays. I loved that situation for Gafford. It just seemed like for a lot of my builds, I kind of had the Naz Reid thing laying in the wings and kind of was hoping that he was going to be the one starting because I thought he'd be the under-owned one of them. But Nathan Knight cheaper, I think people were able to swap onto pretty easy. yeah, Gafford and Yurtseven, but that news came before that game started. And so I didn't really get to as much Gafford on DK as what I probably should have. Ended up with a ton of Yurtseven. That 3,200 number allowed me to play more LeBron, allowed me to play a lot more of my dude Jimmy Butler. And man, that worked out. So a lot of really good things. Also, Garrett Temple. I was getting just lambasted for my Garrett Temple call. He was 3,600 on FanDuel. 40% of the field played him, and he got there in the fourth quarter, which was really nice because he was not there for
think about
quarters.
GFS, and everyone has frustrations and tilts and whatnot. It's the nature of emotions that you go through it. Everything. Obviously, you're like they would be loving you if Garrett Temple drops 25 in the first half. Instead, he drops it in the second half. I mean, just how the game goes, and you play the game till the clock hits 0. I mean, it's just literally, you play the game in baseball there till the game's over. You play the game in NFL till the clock hits 0 or the winning team's up. So it's just you got to deal with it. I know people come after you. People do definitely come into forces for you.
It's all right. And you know what? It's kind of fun because I think I've
learned
thick
skin, right?
I've learned to take it in stride a little bit more than I did in the past. I think I would lose sleep about some of the stuff, even 6 months ago, 8 months ago, because legitimately behind the scenes, I'm working 12 to 14 hours a day. Like that's legitimately my day to day is watching sports. It is taking into account numbers. It is trying to be as helpful. And I do mean I try to be as helpful as I possibly can. I'm definitely somebody who wants to help people get better at things. It doesn't matter if it's golf. It doesn't matter if it's, the way that you act in public as a young child, to my nieces, to my cousins, just being a good role model, or if it's DFS, like, I don't care. I just want to be good at things and I want to be a decent human. I just kind of, lose my temper when I don't get the same back. But you know what? Life ain't fair and neither is DFS. But I'm hoping that it's fair here tonight and that the Nuggets that the Warriors get completely blown out at home here by the Nuggets and that Jokic and Steph Curry sit down and Ryan can co-bink the $15, kind of what I'm hoping for. Anything else to add, Ryan?
Yeah, I just hope Isaiah Roby doesn't just go ham. That's the guy who I'm a little concerned about, but we'll see how that ends up.
Well, welcome to the live sweat show, everybody. I'm looking forward to this one. We got a Wednesday night gamer, though. I know we talked a little bit more here on the front end. I thought it was useful. And plus, I got to tilt my face off about humankind. So not a bad start here for me. Ryan, you ready to get going, my friend?
Let's ride.
All right, let's get it going here on the top end on DraftKings. Number of expensive guards to be looking at here. We got Trey Young, 11K. Is he the only human being now alive in Atlanta? Because I saw more health and safety protocols. We have Bogdanovich now in there. Kevin Huerter, Delon Wright obviously got added to it the other day. So, this is his team, along with, by the way, if you go to forward on Atlanta, still, it looks ridiculous. Cam Reddish somehow avoided the plague. John Collins, Kevin Huerter, Danilo Gallinari, Hunter, Johnson, Luau Cabarro. I believe they had 13 players from their core that are all in health and safety protocols. Pretty absurd statistic. I'm not going to lie. So we're looking at Atlanta and Trey Young, 11K, but whatever. He's going to play a lot of minutes and he's the dude who's going to be chucking. And Chicago, they're getting back to health. So here we go. Damian Lillard, 10-6. Russell Westbrook coming off of a triple-double with LeBron James. What a ridiculous number. He heard everything that was said about him here, and he decided to go out and put up a 60 burger here, 24, 12, and 10 against Houston tonight. But that was Houston, so I'm not going to read a whole heck of a lot into it. Memphis, a little bit more difficult, but no Dylan Brooks out there defensively. Just not the exact same matchup, but I still kind of like getting to him there at 10-5. Anybody who can put up a 60 burger and triple doubles has to be considered. But looking at the top end, Jalen Brown, he's up to 10K against this porous Clippers team. It's early on in the slate. He didn't exactly do what you needed from him, if you rostered him against Minnesota 2 nights ago. He put up 46. Now he's 10K. Are we still going back to Jalen Brown? And talk to me about the other top-end guard options, Ryan.
Yeah, top-end guards. You have all the way up top. There's Dame Lillard's there, along with Trey Young. Obviously, Trey Young looks excellent with the lack of bodies there. But I think John Morant also has a lack of bodies there now as well. He's sub 9K. He's going to be very popular. Rightfully so. I think I believe John Conchar entered protocols. I believe Desmond Bane entered protocols as well.
Both did.
Yeah. So John, I mean, it's just lack of bodies there, and John Morant's gonna run the show. I think LaMelo Ball coming off a disappointing game makes a lot of sense to go to as well. I think these guys all stand out. Chris Paul, there's no DeAndre Ayton there, so Chris Paul might get some extra shots sprinkled his way, as well as Devin Booker. Both those guys have guard eligibility. We should be looking at them. And you touched on all the key high-level points for Russell Westbrook. I think I would rather spend up for an extra $400 more for Westbrook than Levine. I know Levine popped off against this Atlanta team earlier this week. They played against each other the other night, and all those guys played well. Levine, DeRozan, and Vooch. Granted, this Atlanta team is going to be a little different tomorrow than it was the day before. It's just how crazy times are. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in a back-to-back tough matchup versus Phoenix. I don't like going to $9,200, but I like going to a $6,800 Derek White quite a bit. I think he stands out as well. Another guy I missed on is De'Aaron Fox, $7,900. Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense for me. And I think Caris LeVert's a little too expensive. I think Malcolm Brogdon's questionable to play, but $9,100 Caris LeVert seems a little too expensive for my liking.
So Desmond Bane, I think, is good to go. It's D'Anthony Melton that's still in the health and safety protocols. But Desmond Bane coming off of another massive game. I think I got my buddy Matt Lamarck on him the last two games, which is good because he's shot the absolute living daylights out of it. 41.5, 49.5 DraftKings points over there. I think at 6,200, just considering Conchar's in there too, he could play 37, 40 minutes here in this spot. I think he's somebody at 6,200. I like him a lot more than his 7,600 tag that we're looking at getting to over here on FanDuel. But how do you feel about 6,200 Desmond Bane?
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. I think he's a great pivot off of Jordan Clarkson at $5,800.
Yeah, Clarkson should garner a ton of attention.
Mm-hmm. Detroit's going to have some value as well. Derek Walton Jr., shout out to Michigan, $3,400. He was not very good last time out, but the minutes are going to be there for him, as well as it's for Frank Jackson as well. I think both those guys. We were going to get to Jimmy Butler here at the small forward position because of course, he just went completely nuts. But one of the big wrenches that got thrown into this slate was Max Strus getting ruled out for health and safety protocols. Zero chance he's playing now tomorrow for what it looks like. So Tyler Hero, that's somebody you got to at least consider. He put up another, 45 burger, I believe, tonight. 45.5 that he ended up putting up. 5 for 7 from 3, 9 for 19, 32, 6 and 3. That's pretty useful. So I think him coming off the bench definitely makes some sense. Caleb Martin's now down under 4K. He did not play that well tonight, 19.75, but now you're getting a discount on him out of the middle of nowhere after he was more expensive than that tonight. He's now under 4K. If he's starting again, I think you can take some shots there. If he knocks down shots, there you go. And Gabe Vincent is playing like 34 plus minutes a night. So a lot of these Miami guys, do you kind of have a preference at the guard spot of taking a shot on somebody? Yeah, it's Tyler Hero. I think he's the guy I think benefited the most.
Did you talk about him and I missed it earlier?
No, I didn't.
Okay, good.
I liked him quite a bit tonight. Tyler Hero balled out for sure. And it's a back-to-back for this Miami team. So keep an eye on that situation. But Jimmy Butler did get hurt at the end of the game. I believe he rolled his ankle. So it might be the Tyler Hero show right off the bat. There was a night when so Tyler Hero versus San Antonio might be a big value point to take a look at. Just keep an eye on that situation. It's a back-to-back for Jimmy Butler. He just battles injuries through the regular season and turns it on in the playoffs. So monitor that situation in Miami for sure.
YouTube chat would say, I haven't watched the NBA since the Reagan administration. Let's go to the guard position on FanDuel. I just love people. Russell Westbrook, 9,800 on the top end there. That's kind of a fascinating number to be looking at for him. Your most expensive guard, it looks like, to be getting to on any site. A lot of back-to-backs. A lot of teams on back-to-backs, specifically OKC, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But then Trey Young, 9,700. LaMelo Ball, 9,400. I think both of them are going to garner a lot of attention. That Charlotte game was pretty wonky. Terry Rozier got there. LaMelo Ball only played 24 minutes in that blowout win. But Damian Lillard, 9K. John Morant, 8,600. Zach Levine, 8,600. I mean, everybody's underpriced here. Kind of talk me through some of the madness here. Who are your favorite spend ups out of this grouping?
Yeah, looking at that grouping, I think you touched on John Morant. I mean, the situation for him sticks out great. I mean, Trey Young, sub 10K. I mean, these guys are all just like have the upside and their salary works out great. I mean, how can we not go to these guys? And I think LaMelo Ball makes for an excellent pivot. I think their ownership will be Trey Young, John Morant, LaMelo Ball. Actually, no, I think it'll go John Morant, Trey Young, LaMelo Ball in that order, and you could flip flop those three guys around and try to create some sort of leverage heading into tomorrow. Dame Lillard, 9K, has the upside. He's dealing with a lack of bodies in the situation there. Disappointing game against Dallas. I think he can definitely bounce back. We touched on Chris Paul, $8,200. I think he has extra usage his way with no DeAndre Ayton, and he just is a great facilitator. So it's not that the extra shots are nice. He can just get there at that price tag in a matchup versus Oklahoma City. They could also wax Oklahoma City in like 2 quarters, and Oklahoma City could also lose by 40. Going down.
I was going to bring up one guy that I wanted to ask you about, Peyton Pritchard. So Marcus Smart, questionable. We're still looking at major health and safety protocol issues here for this team. I think he's going to be extremely popular 5K on DK. I think probably rightfully so, but would you be looking at rostering him at 6,200 on FanDuel as well?
Okay, let's talk about $6,200 Peyton Pritchard.
It's a jarring tag to look at. Yeah. I know there's going to be ownership there probably. Is that something that, when you see a number like 6,200 for a guy who just went off and played 44 minutes the other night in regulation, if Marcus Smart is out, what are you doing with the 6,200 number? Because there's feels so many really weird
pivots in that price range.
That's what I was thinking.
I would rather take my chances on that. Pritchard is a very good player. He's a back end 6-man-esque type of player. He has good range. He's going to be taking on the Clippers, you saw them the other night. They're not the greatest team right now, but
no.
In that same game, I would rather take my chances on Eric Bledsoe. Again, as ugly as that sounds, Hamidou Diallo is a pivot in that similar price range. So the opportunity cost, you're going to miss out on those super studs in Trey Young and John Morant in probably the best possible spot of the season, while we were going to pay for a seal, the most expensive Peyton Pritchard has ever been in his young career. So think about it. I mean, Pritchard is a good play. I think he'll grade out well in projections, but I think I would rather want to target a ceiling. I think we saw the ceiling game against the G League Minnesota team, and the team that Clippers will roll out is not a G League team, but they're a little better than the team that Minnesota rolled out the other night.
It's pretty close to a G League team. Let's be serious. Again, I just want to have some of these talking points about certain players where I just get that feeling Peyton Pritchard is going to be popular tomorrow. 5K, 6,200. And I think I find 5K hard to get away from so long as Marcus Smart is out. But in the event that he's in, obviously, I think we can be lighter on everybody here, period. But 6,200, even if Marcus Smart is out, I'm probably going to find ways to get away from it, target a lot more ceilings on this slate. There's not going to be a clear-cut spot for me where I want to be jamming a bunch of Peyton Pritchard, hoping that he goes completely berserk again here in this spot. But there is usage up for grabs, no doubt.
Yeah,
that's the longest we will ever cover Peyton Pritchard on this show ever. Anything else from FanDuel?
On FanDuel, I think Norman Powell was, I know, disappointing. It was the Nasir Little show the other time out, but it could definitely be the Norman Powell show. Shooting guard eligible Cam Reddish, also just a lack of bodies in Atlanta, I think could work out. A non-zero chance that game gets canceled. I hope they sign enough bodies for that game to play, but we have to keep an eye on that situation.
Which one? Sorry, I just
Atlanta and Chicago.
Atlanta, Chicago. Yeah, I mean Atlanta with Trey Young back. I mean, it's just going to be all Trey Young. So you play a lot of Trey Young, play some of these other ancillary pieces that actually exist here from Atlanta, and there, as you said, aren't many. Cam Reddish is now super, super expensive everywhere. That's kind of a fascinating thing. But like Chris Clemens is now on the roster, Anthony Barber, Mac McClung is on Chicago. That's weird to look at considering he was, twice transferred in college, Texas Tech and Georgia, and then
Georgetown, right?
or Georgetown. That's what I meant. Georgetown to Texas Tech. Then he gets signed, plays for the G League Lakers, and now he's with the Bulls. It's just kind of weird to look at, but welcome to a strange year of basketball. Again, Greg Monroe played great back-to-back days. Anything is possible, everybody. Let's head over to Yahoo at the guard position. Trey Young, $44, will be popular. LaMelo Ball, 44. Zach Levine, 39. Ja Morant, 39. That's really hard not to like. Damien Lillard, 38. That's really hard not to like. But man, Russell Westbrook is still $34. They are not changing his tag ever on Yahoo. I just keep playing him on Yahoo. I think you should too. How do you feel about the top end guard and paying for Russell Westbrook at $34?
I love it. I think Russell Westbrook played with some composure today, was making the right play. Granted, it was against a Houston team, but it was nice to see Russ just play a good game. And he found a way to help them win the basketball game, which he hasn't done. He didn't do that Christmas Day specifically. But if you're going to spend a spot on Russ, you're going to miss out on Lillard at 38, which is pretty exciting as well. I think LaMelo Ball and Trey Young at $44 are fine, but Ja Morant also at 39 in a really good spot himself. Makes a lot of sense. We touched on De'Aaron Fox last night. I think his price tag at $28 makes a lot of sense as well. Now, going down the list here, it doesn't seem like a spot for point guard, especially to spend down, but other guards who have a good price tag, as Charlotte is also missing some bodies here. Rozier balled out the last night. I think you can go to him, Desmond Bane at $24. I prefer Tyler Hero among the bunch of those three guys at $25. Makes a lot of sense if there's no Jimmy Butler. Frank Jackson is $10, so I think he'll be very popular as well.
I was going to say, Frank Jackson's the guy at $10 I like. It's interesting. There's some disappointing dudes here of late, but Peyton Pritchard at $15 is going to be very, very, very popular at the guard spot. So everything that we talked about on the other sites, that applies. Peyton Pritchard, though, $15. So long as he's starting, so long as, even if Marcus Smart is in, I think Peyton Pritchard's somebody you could maybe fire up there in that spot. But that is the guard position, y'all. You know what this is, Ryan? New Yahoo users. That's what it is. Get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Deposit $10 or more, play in any paid contest. And again, yes, they're the sponsor here of the Slate Starter podcast, but I don't really care. It's the best site you can possibly play on. The lowest management fees. They are putting players first. They're being as helpful as humanly possible to build your bankroll, putting ridiculous contests together, giving you overlay on Sundays in the $20, giving $1 contests here and there that are just negative 900% management fee. That is rake on other sites. It's the best place you can go play. So use this promo. Get that 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Stop guessing, start winning, and get every sport we have behind the paywall, not just NBA, but NFL. NHL's back in full swing. That's a weird thing to say, swing, about NHL, but whatever. Golf's around the corner, though. 2 weeks, we'll have the Century Tournament of Champions in Kapalua. Looking forward to covering that for you guys. Golf season kind of right here on the horizon. So take advantage of this promo. And thank you again to Yahoo for being a sponsor. More importantly, thank you for them for putting players first at their site. Cool. Love Yahoo. Just go play there. Stop this madness. Let's go to the forward position here, my friend. Top end, LeBron James, 11-8. LeBron James, man. What can we possibly say? LeBron James, in his 484th year in the NBA, is just setting it on fire right now. He is just aware that his team is not very good. And he's been able to coast in some spots when he had Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving. We've seen him be able to just kind of fade into the background here and there and pick his spots. He had Chris Bosh. He had Dwayne Wade once upon a time. In the Lakers, he had Anthony Davis. He has none of those people right now. He has Russell Westbrook, who put up a triple-double tonight, but, more of a stat filler. LeBron James is out of his damn mind, Ryan. What are we doing with him other than just rostering a bunch?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to project as one of the highest scoring players on the slate, if not the highest. He's expensive, 11-8. I expect there to be quite a bit of value to find a way to get him in. But you got to look at what the value looks like. It could be some pretty bleak value if the way the day progresses. But we found a way to get him in today. We'll see how it ends up going. I think LeBron James at 11-8 makes a lot of sense. I have no issues going to him at that price tag. If Jimmy Butler plays $9,300, I like saving $2,500 and going to him. Miami is very depleted at this very moment. Zach Levine, Jalen Brown. think I prefer Jalen Brown to Zach Levine just because more usage, more opportunity for Jalen Brown, I think, than there is for Zach Levine. Zach Levine did put up a number the other night, but I think Jalen Brown at $10,000 will be very low owned, but contrarian for sure. 10-8 Julius Randle will be virtually unowned at that price tag, but we know the upside against Detroit. I like going back to Porzingis at $9,400 in a matchup versus Sacramento. No issues going to that price tag whatsoever. Other guys at that stick out to me in the lower range, I expect Kyle Anderson to get a significant more minutes with the lack of with the health and safety protocol situation in Memphis. I think Cam Johnson will continue to get minutes over there. Caleb Martin in Miami with Max Strus at $3,900 makes a lot of sense to go to. Anyone else in the lower range that you want to take some chances on?
There's some guys that exist that, like we saw Stanley Johnson play 32 minutes tonight, like 32 minutes, 3,300. Do we want to do something like that? No, good talk.
I don't mind.
It's just one of those things where I don't know what the value is going to look like specifically. I mean, this Brown Jr. character started for Atlanta and played 30 minutes at 3,300.
It's not a character. He went to Michigan.
I know. You brought him up. Just saying, you bring up these Michigan guys every freaking day now. It's pretty funny seeing how many Michigan Wolverines are in the NBA at this given moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
There's a lot in the NBA because everybody from the G League, like those guys that like balled out, not just like the Tim Hardaway Juniors and the Duncan Robinsons and, the guys that we know that are like rotational players in the NBA. Trey Burke. Duncan Robinson did go to Michigan, right? I remember that correctly.
Duncan Robinson did go to Michigan, yeah.
For Franz 1 year, because he was like a junior college transfer, right?
No, Duncan Robinson was there for like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. But did he transfer from a JUCO first? Because he didn't get recruited.
He went to Division III.
Division III.
And Division III, and then transferred to Michigan. Yeah.
He's already like not even close. The best undrafted free agent in the history of the NBA. Is that a true statement?
Undrafted free agent in the NBA?
Yeah, in like the history of the NBA.
I think Ben Wallace is the best undrafted player ever.
Okay, that's probably true. I'm just saying that there aren't that many because anybody with any lick of talent gets a ton of attention. So Duncan Robinson is such an outlier.
Probably can be. Ben Wallace was like an all-star, 3-time defensive player of the year. So I don't think Duncan Robinson will ever be an all-star. I could be wrong. Kyle Korver got to be an all-star one year. So, but yeah, Ben Wallace by far the best undrafted NBA player ever, and I don't think it'll be even close.
That's probably the guy. But yeah. I mean, Duncan Robinson, is he number 2?
I'll have to
already.
Think about it.
Okay. Well, again, not to put you on the spot. This isn't first take over here, but I thought it was a fun aside to kind of think about here as we're looking at some of these guys that, were obviously undrafted free agents who are playing meaningful minutes on NBA teams right now. Yay 2021. What a world to kind of round out with. I will say Romeo Langford's going to have to play a boatload of minutes again. 36 minutes that he played against Minnesota. Did you talk about Romeo Langford?
Did I talk about Romeo Langford? I did not touch on
I just wanted to let you know that the Nuggets are literally up 24 on Golden State at halftime.
Yeah, that's not the thing I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about this Isaiah Roby guy getting a double-double. So
what's he got right now? He's got 7 and 6. I think you're looking okay right now. I just don't want to see like block by Isaiah Roby on the ESPN stream.
I think
that's what we don't want.
Because he got up to 20 in the first half, and if he gets to 30, I'm done. So
hey, I'm in 50th on FanDuel right now. I'm only going to go backwards, but I just thought I'd point it out.
Yeah, so Isaiah Roby, because the Mark Dagnall's and health and safety protocols, if their backup coach is like been working with those third stringers like Omer Shaw, like let's see some Omer Shaw, Mike Muscala. I ain't trying to see no more Isaiah Roby for my sakes. But
Mike Muscala didn't check into like the 8-minute point of the second quarter.
Sorry?
He didn't check into like the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. It was disgusting. Roby played like 8 minutes in the rotation. Again, we are sick people talking about an Oklahoma City, Sacramento rotation. But these are the things that you do.
What's wrong with Steph
you will
Curry?
Always get my
Is
best
he hurt?
people.
Why does Steph Curry only have 2 points?
Because Steph Curry only has 2 points.
Well,
He's getting shut down right now is what's happening. We've got Will Barton out there just wrecking havoc and making his life miserable. Also, maybe
these type of slates, because that was a showdown game over there on DK. That makes for a very interesting showdown slate over there, but that doesn't matter. Other guys that I think you should be targeting, Larry Nance, $5,400.
Yes.
It was disappointing. Good luck with Rudy Gobert, but damn. 5,400, he might play 40 minutes if that game is close. Yeah, you touched on Romeo Langford. He does not take enough offensive shots. He doesn't take shots. I need him to
but
take
he's cheap and he's going to play 36 minutes. And I can pretty much talk myself into anybody like that ever.
For sure. And I think you bring up an excellent point like that in a matchup versus the Clippers. Yeah, there's a lot of boxes checked there. I mean, you're either playing a guy like him or a guy like Devin Vassell, maybe, Sean D. Brown, Royce O'Neal, Kenrich Williams. Kenrich Williams is someone who's shown the ability to put up good fantasy stats. We saw Jalen Smith play better than JaVale McGee, which is interesting because we'll see the center price tag on JaVale McGee. I haven't seen it yet, but we'll get there and see what that ownership will look like after he burned everyone.
29 minutes of Jalen Smith. We're talking about like one of the biggest busts. Again, he's like in his third year. He didn't get his rookie option picked up.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah.
He's like one of the only guys ever. Was it the second pick? He was something really, really high.
No. He wasn't that high.
Oh, he wasn't that high. Never mind. No. But I'm saying he was like a high draft pick.
He played well in the summer league. He was an 8K player in the summer league. So they just don't like him.
They don't like him. But then they liked him the other night because he came out and relieved JaVale McGee when he got a quick foul. And JaVale McGee did not play very well that game. So definitely be on the high alert there. He was 53% owned in the $15 the other night on DK. JaVale McGee, that is. Jalen Smith, 3,400. I've played worse guys. We'll put it that way. Let's head over. Do you have anything else you want to add to forward here? Again, pretty in detail situation that we got into there.
Other guy, I mean, it's a very fluid situation. Just everyone should keep an eye on
9 games, COVID, the world, yeah.
And bear with us. There might be news that breaks right after we record. It's just the nature of delivering some sort of valuable content, playing NBA DFS or any sort of DFS at this very moment. Please do bear with us. Other guys who have forward eligibility on DraftKings, Mikal Bridges is a little too cheap at $4,800. I think he has an upside in a very easy matchup versus Oklahoma City. And I'll be a little under the field on Nasir Little after a career game.
What's his tag, though?
5K.
Oh, okay, that's yeah, I might have to be too. Again, he had to place him like 4 and 5. I mean, they're so tiny without Zeller and Nurk. Just is what it is there. But Utah, probably going to get murdered. Nasir Little, possible quick hook for a lot of these guys. Just be on high alert of that too. Let's head over to FanDuel here. LeBron James 11-2. He's going to be so popular. DeMar DeRozan 9,200. Jalen Brown 8,800. He's going to be so popular, along with our boy Kristaps Porzingis. If you listen to the NBA Slate Starter podcast, you're a happy human being because you played a bunch of Kristaps the last 2 nights. 48.3 and 64.3 against Portland. This West Coast trip has treated Kristaps very nicely. Now he gets the best matchup out of all of them in Sacramento. Sacramento on a back-to-back. I mean, how much Porzingis is too much Porzingis tomorrow?
Yeah, I love Porzingis quite a bit. Makes a lot of sense to go there. $8,900 on FanDuel. Makes a lot of sense to save that money off of LeBron James. So I have no issues going to Porzingis. I think Porzingis definitely stands out to me. It's a pricing mistake. He's $1,000 too cheap, in my opinion. I think going to Julius Randle as well is not too bad. $8,700 Randle makes a lot of sense. Going down the list here, Jaren Jackson Jr., $6,700. Don't have an issue with that against the Lakers team. He played well against a Lakers team. Granted, there was no John Morant that night, but if you don't think John Morant's going to have a good game, one of these Memphis guys is going to have a good game, in my opinion. And if LeBron James is going to start at the 5 again, it's been an interesting situation there. Christian Wood started off the game really well and then didn't play so well. So we'll see how Taylor Jenkins adjusts that game plan for LeBron James. Rashawn Holmes against the Dallas team. I think Holmes should be good to go. It was very low on today, but has the upside to put up 40 fantasy points, and you'll take that at 6K over there on FanDuel. Center eligible as well. Spend down options, guys who have forward eligibility on FanDuel. I missed some guys, but I think who stands? What's his name? Norman Powell again, $6,100 makes a lot of sense.
Yep, I think he makes sense. We can try to extract some value still from Detroit. Hamidou Diallo, 6K. We haven't really talked about him playing upper 30s minutes. Cade Cunningham is questionable to return. I don't really know. I can't give you the crystal ball on that, but I know Saban Lee is going to continue to be out. I know Killian Hayes is going to continue to be out, and I know Corey Joseph is going to continue to be out. So even with Cade or something there, if you got burned by that, like, again, it's the first game of the slate, so we'll know if Cade's in or not. But, like, if there's no Cade Cunningham, I think you can fire up Hamidou Diallo even at 6K, correct?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, look what he did last game. He just balled out. I mean, you like that upside. I think teammate Sadiq Bey makes a lot of sense as well at $6,400. No issues going to him whatsoever. I think makes a lot of sense. And Harrison Barnes is, I think, at $6,200, pretty rock solid. He's going to find a way to play high 30s minutes if that game is close. He's playing well tonight, and I think Harrison Barnes it's not too bad of a play. And Marvin Bagley started the game today. And when Marvin Bagley starts, I tend to play quite a bit of him. And
he's going to get a double-double. He's got 9 and 9 right now.
And I found a way to get onto some of him. I would have had a lot more of Marvin Bagley if I was around to pivot off of Naz Reid. But, hey, it is what it is.
I would pivot onto him with my Nathan Knight right now, even though they're like 1,400 apart. I would have found a way to do it.
Yeah, I think Naz Reid and Bagley were similar price. Not mistaken.
Yeah, Naz Reid was, they were like right next to each other, but I had 0% Naz Reid. You would have had all the Marvin Bagley in the world. I can let you know that. Actually, no, you weren't even high on Nathan Knight. I'm curious how much you would have ended up with. Man, you could have won like $1 million tonight, Ryan. That's what we learned. Let's over to Yahoo. The reason I brought up Hamidou Diallo is I think he will be very popular at that $14 number, as will Nasir Little at $15. But Cam Reddish at $15. I mean, he's going to have to play a boatload of minutes too. So many good plays on the cheap end. Larry Nance is $16. We've got Kyle Anderson in the remnants of this Memphis situation, $16. Marcus Morris Sr., $18. I mean, we have LeBron on the top end at $50, but this might be one of those slates where, you can get a lot in other spots at cheaper for studs. Kristaps Porzingis at 40. And there's just so many of these forward spots that, like, there's just value everywhere you look. So, like, I find it tough, but like LeBron James, he's 25% of the cap. How much are you looking at getting to him as opposed to punting where you can play 3 forwards?
It's going to come down to an ownership situation. LeBron is playing at an all-time level yet again. His whole career has been an all-time level, but LeBron, especially at this age, he had some amazing dunks to close out that game. So I will want to get a little bit of him just because we saw that 70-point upside. And if there's enough value to jam him in, we could potentially get there, but we'll have to see what that looks like because there's a lot of spend-up guards that are in great situations as well, and we have talked about some solid forward options, so we'll see how that pans out.
All right, let's head to the center spot and get out of here. We're going to DK, rounding it out. Randall and Sabonis, forwards you can pay up for 10-8, 10-7. Those are overpays to be contrarian, no doubt about it. Rudy Gobert, 9,800. Vooch, 9K. Hey, I did say when he got back from COVID, I had a good feeling about Vooch. I just did. I've been playing a little bit. I wish I had jammed, considering he was like the only other expensive center to pay up for, and I knew he was going to be like 2%. I got to 10%, but I capped him. I was a coward. I didn't go with my gut on it whatsoever, and Vooch and DeRozan and Levine all went for like massive games against this depleted Atlanta team, and Vooch, do I expect 65 out of him? No, but he's 9K in the exact same matchup at home. I'm worried that he might get more traction coming into this one, but with the presence of the other guys around him, maybe not. At 9K, are you interested in going contrarian with me with Vooch on this spot?
Yeah, I think just coming off
that didn't sound very convincing. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's just that there's some excellent spend down options. I
know there's tons.
Yeah,
but 65, you'd take that, huh?
Sorry. No, yeah. If
take
you're telling me a
65.
guy's going to get 65 points, I'll
I'm just
probably find a way to get him in there. So, yeah,
hot take.
he's 9K, and I think he'll have some recency bias ownership to him, potentially. Clint Capella in that same game is going to be asked to play a lot of minutes. Remember now, Gorgie Zhang has entered health and safety protocols as well. He might be asked to play 40-plus minutes if that game plays. But if you want to spend down a little bit, I like Rashawn Holmes. I like Omer Yurtseven quite a bit. JaVale McGee is a great bounce-back candidate, in my opinion. He did close that game, if I'm not mistaken. So McGee did get fouled out. I think McGee is someone we should be considering to go back to. Other guys at their price tag that we can go to. Mason Plumlee started off that game really hot, but cooled off as he didn't need to play the last rotation run because of them just clapping the Houston Rockets. I think Mason Plumlee, someone will be low owned at $4,500. Luka Garza, National Player of the Year at $3,500. You can take some chances at him. I need to look at the rotation of what Garza and Sheik Diallo was like for Detroit last time out. I don't recall what it was, but I think you can.
I literally have it on popcorn machine right now. 20 and 19. So you had 9 minutes of just absentee, no center basketball. They have this Balsa Koprivica.
Oh yeah, that's
another
their
listed
other
center.
Koprivica is like it's another rookie that they had drafted this year. Yeah.
Okay, but they brought in Servetus, and he played some 5. It looks like for this team, he ended up playing. So yeah, I just saw that he got signed by them, and he played 18 minutes, and he played 9 uninhibited minutes at the 5.
There you go. He was with the team last year, so I think he's just familiar with the system. And not that exciting of a fantasy player whatsoever. Garza can be, but keep in mind of that situation.
Yeah, Isaiah Livers, I think, actually would have been considered the 5 in that spot. He played 5 minutes.
Damn.
Whoop-de-doo.
Isaiah Livers, the 5? Wow. He must have been.
I think.
It's really small.
Had to have been, right? I mean, how
Livers
tall is he?
Like a wing. He's like 6'6".
I'm just literally trying to sleuth it. 6'6". He's 6'6".
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I'm just looking that he was on the floor for those 5 minutes, and he was sharing it with Garza, so never mind.
Gotcha.
I'm just a damn dirty liar. Let's continue on, shall we? Heading over to FanDuel here on the top. Oh, did we bring up Yurtseven? Because he's just going to be the chalk of all chalk again, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just double checking.
Good chalk, yeah.
I heard you say his name, and then I just kind of spaced out. I'm kind of like, I'm tracking you right now. We're still good. Roby is on the bench. I would like him to stay there for you, even though I have way too much of this dude. I was going to play him or Muscala. Ken, it's going to be Roby starting, and you're going to want to just play Roby.
I hope Omer Sarr just balls out.
He's got 4 and 4. Let's hope for it. Again, I got that name
his name's not Omer Sarr. His name's Olivier Sarr.
Oh, man. Sounds like SARS. Wasn't that the other pandemic thing? We don't like that.
Olivier Sarr.
Sarr, Sarr. Yeah, I said he's got 4 and 4. That's literally, I was looking at the right name. Let's continue on, shall we? Center over on FanDuel. You have no Anthony Davis. You have Rudy Gobert, 9,100. He's going to be popular at that number. You can play all these power forward centers. I'm not going to say them. Vooch, 8,300. That should be popular. Clint Capella, 8K. That should be very popular as well. Jakob Poeltl, 68. That will not be popular. You've got Landale now playing some minutes here behind him, I guess. I mean, he's just playing the Eubanks role. It's the exact same thing, but 27 minutes you saw of Poeltl last time out, not really doing it for me, but those are the times you might want to take a shot on somebody like that. You're at 5,500. Zubats, 5,300. I think you can take shots on both, but JaVale McGee, 5,200. They didn't change that at all. It's going to be a freaky thing coming off of last game, but I think 5,200, you just kind of jam and figure out the rest, right?
Yeah, I think I definitely take your chances with JaVale McGee at $5,200. Makes a lot of sense to do so. Omer Yurtseven at 5,500 can definitely work out for you as well. Rashawn Holmes, 6K, makes a lot of sense. No issues going to Mason Plumlee at all at $5,500. Porzingis can take up a center spot if you choose, but Vooch, $8,300. You're getting a nice discount here. I expect him to be quite popular, and taking some shots at Vooch is, I think, a pretty good decision.
You know who else is a really good decision to take shots on? Steven Adams. Steven Adams has been awesome. Like I've been saying this now, I think, for a while. And on DK, his tag is up to, because I didn't touch on him there, 5K. It's tougher, but legitimately, his assist rate has actually been like a legitimate thing. Coming off of playing in New Orleans, where he just never touched the ball, he put up 13, 16, and 7. He's now had 6 and 7 assists his last 2 games. He's getting involved in like different ways. And John Morant back on the floor, that's kind of a different thing. But we're looking at 4,800 for a guy that I just think will get zero attention, has been doing it constantly. Now, I'm not saying he's automatic to do it here again, but like if we're looking for pivots off of McGee, that's got to be a prime candidate now.
I think so. And the opportunity cost of that is, I think, kind of be significant. I think McGee has a serious upside within him. Do you think the upside is similar between him and McGee?
I don't know, but you're getting 4,800. It would depend on if he can get you something else. If he can, you know, get you another ceiling in a lineup.
$400, yeah.
Yeah, if you can get another ceiling that, you know, you upgrade one of those point guards that we listed off, a ton of those guys. You can get LeBron James and you can get somebody else there. There's not like Capella's going to play a ton of minutes and he should garner attention. Vooch will get paid for the ceiling and he's cheap on FanDuel. And then it's McGee. So like legitimately outside of those 3 scenarios, if you go anywhere cheaper, he's like my favorite guy under 5K.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And he's going to be able to rack up all the rebounds he wants. He's going to be asked to play, I think, a few extra minutes potentially. But he might get played off the court if LeBron James starts at the 5. That's my only concern.
That's true. That was a weird lineup looking at it. Malik Monk went nuts tonight too. Whatever. Yahoo, let's finish this puppy up. Rudy Gobert, $39. Vooch, $35. Capella, $27. There you go. Just roster that. We're looking at Bodle. Robert Williams, no. With Al Horford there, we don't want to do that. Steven Adams, $20 over there. He's appropriately priced. Don't roster Steven Adams on Yahoo. That is a FanDuel play for me. Maybe a share or two of DK. But JaVale McGee, $17. That is going to be very popular, no doubt about it. What else sticks out to you at center on Yahoo to round out the Slate Starter podcast?
Omer Yurtseven, $12. Have a great night.
Jesus.
I think he stands out.
Does that stand out a little bit?
Yeah.
Do you like 1.1 fantasy points per game or per minute in your lineup at $12 with
and I need to see how he got the double at the end of the game. But potentially there might be no Jimmy Butler, so there might be even more usage his way. You're 7 shot poor from the field as well, so keep in mind that situation. And he's someone I think we should be going to. You'll take those type of minutes from your 7 for sure. All right. Anything else for you whatsoever that you want to talk about for this slate in general? We got another one done. A little bit longer here, obviously for a 9 gamer, but go right ahead. I think, Malik Monk, someone we can go back to, I think, will be very popular just because of his performance, but he just fits that lineup really well. And he played, I can hit the 3-point bonus on DraftKings. Can definitely work out for you. All right. Well, Mike Muscala just checked in the game, everybody. We are going to be on high alert here for Rayen. He is still winning the $15. He's still tied for winning the $15. I will say you avoided 2 trains of just chalk. It was amazing how much chalk just went completely nuts. So all you need is that one deviation piece in lineups, everybody. You can play good plays, but you got to find one way to get different. And Chris Boucher, 5%. That was Ryan's key to today. Also, if you have that Awesemo Plus package, check out Lineup Rewind. Always a great way. I do it for NFL. I do a show for Mondays. Great way to check your process for NBA. But Rayen, any final words for the people? No. Good luck tomorrow. Lots and lots of news pending. And hopefully you can find yourself at the top. He's Rayen. He's got a sweat going. I'm Eric. I should probably get a sweat going and work out or something tonight. We'll see you guys later.